There is an ancient Arabic word that defines the standard of a complete human being. Most people have never heard it, and almost no one alive today meets it.
The word is Muruwwa. It is pronounced Muruwwa, and it has no single English translation because it contains multitudes that English has never thought to combine. In the pre-Islamic Arab world, Muruwwa was the supreme virtue, the measure by which men were judged, remembered, and followed. The poets of the desert wrote about it. The warriors embodied it. The philosophers defined and refined it over centuries. But here is what makes Muruwwa different from any warrior code you have encountered before. Most warrior traditions value strength, courage, and endurance. Muruwwa includes all of those, but it also demands something that most warrior cultures omit entirely: tenderness, generosity, the capacity to weep at a poem, to sit with a grieving person in silence, to treat a child with patience that costs you nothing because it comes from fullness, not performance. Muruwwa is not the warrior or the sage. It is the understanding that the complete human being is both at the same time. This is the standard. Let us look at what it actually requires.
The first pillar of Muruwwa is Shaja'a, courage, but not the courage of recklessness. The Arab tradition was precise about this distinction. Recklessness is the absence of fear. That is not courage. That is ignorance of risk. Shaja'a is the presence of fear, fully acknowledged, and the choice to move toward it anyway. The warrior who does not feel fear is not brave. The warrior who feels it, names it, and advances anyway, that is Shaja'a. The practical application? What are you currently calling "I am not ready"? That is actually, "I am afraid." Muruwwa does not ask you to eliminate the fear. It asks you to stop pretending it isn't there and move anyway.
The second pillar is Karam, generosity. And again, the Arab tradition was precise. Karam is not giving when asked. Giving when asked is transaction. Karam is the anticipation of need and the movement toward meeting it before the other person has to experience the discomfort of asking. The Bedouin code required a host to offer food before a guest requested it, to notice the traveler's thirst before they mentioned it. This was not hospitality. It was attentiveness, the highest form of respect. Karam today means who in your life is struggling and has not yet asked you for help. What is the thing you could give? Time, attention, honesty, resource, before they have to admit they need it.
Wafa is faithfulness, loyalty. We explored this in the Bedouin code, but in Muruwwa, it takes on a specific dimension. Wafa is not the loyalty of easy times. That is merely association. Wafa is the loyalty that holds when holding it costs you something significant: your comfort, your status, your safety. The Arab poets described Wafa as the quality that separates the companion from the acquaintance. The acquaintance is present when things are good. The companion is present when you are at your lowest and says nothing that needs to be said, because their presence says it. Who in your life has experienced your Wafa at its most costly? And who deserves it from you, right now, that has not yet received it?
This is the pillar that surprises people most. Hilm, often translated as forbearance or clemency, is the deliberate choice not to use the full force of your power when you could. It is not weakness. It is the demonstration of abundance, Only someone who is truly powerful can afford to restrain that power. Saladin demonstrated Hilm when he sent his physicians to a dying enemy king. Khalid ibn al-Walid demonstrated it when he accepted demotion without resentment. The powerful person who does not need to prove their power, that is Hilm. Where in your life are you using full force when restraint would be both more powerful and more dignified?
The final pillar is the one that separates Muruwwa from every other warrior code I have encountered in philosophy. Hilm, softness, tenderness, gentleness. The Muruwwa tradition explicitly required a man of full virtue to be capable of weeping at poetry, of being moved by beauty, of sitting with grief, his own or another's, without the need to fix it or escape from it. Because the Arab tradition understood something that modern discipline culture has forgotten. A person who cannot feel deeply cannot act deeply. The warrior who has no access to tenderness is not stronger for its absence. They are diminished. They have amputated the part of themselves that knows what they are fighting for. Muruwwa is the code that says, you do not choose between the sword and the tear. You learn to hold both at the same time, without apology.
5 pillars, 1 standard. Shaja'a, the courage that moves toward fear. Karam, the generosity that anticipates need. Wafa, the loyalty that holds in the worst moment. Hilm, the restraint that demonstrates true power. Lin, the tenderness that proves you know what you are fighting for. This is Muruwwa, the ancient Arab standard of the complete human being. Not the warrior, not the sage. Both. Always both. If desert mind is the channel you have been looking for, ancient wisdom, warrior depth, and the philosophical precision the modern world has forgotten, subscribe. This is only the beginning.